The Russian arm wrestler, Vitaly Lalatin, announced on his Instagram that he is in the process of obtaining his visa in order to travel to Switzerland and compete against Jerry Cadaret at East vs. West 20, scheduled for November 1st. In his post, Vitaly wrote, "And I'm flying to apply for the visa to Switzerland, where I will compete on November 1st. The response from Canadian Devon Larratt didn't take long. Taking advantage of the post, Larratt made a provocative comment, pointing out what he considered an apparent contradiction. You're going to Switzerland to apply for a visa. Why didn't you do the same at the Shaw Classic in August to fight at Dev Larratt? Why, Vitaly? Why?" Devon was referring to the highly anticipated match between them that could have taken place at East vs. West 19, organized within the Shaw Classic Expo in the United States. However, Vitaly couldn't attend, citing problems with obtaining the U.S. visa. With his comment, Devon implied that if Vitaly could get a visa for Switzerland, he also could have done the same for the United States, suggesting that the visa problems might have been an excuse to avoid the match. Based on what I've researched, the comparison isn't fair. It is much harder for a Russian citizen to obtain a U.S. visa than a visa for Switzerland or any other Schengen country. Since 2021, the U.S. Embassy in Moscow has suspended almost all of its consular services. To apply for a visa, a Russian citizen must travel to a third country, such as Serbia or Kazakhstan, which involves a costly and logistically complicated process with waiting times that can exceed a year. While Vitaly's status as an elite athlete would certainly help expedite the initial petition approval in the U.S., it does not grant him any special priority in the queue for a consular appointment, which remains the primary obstacle. By contrast, although obtaining a Schengen visa has become more difficult for Russians since 2022, the procedure is still accessible from within Russia. It is a bureaucratic process with a timeline of 15 to 45 days, not a nearly insurmountable logistical barrier as in the case of the U.S. About 2 months ago, Devon Larratt claimed that Vitaly had been offered support for a 10-year U.S. visa and that he didn't even bother to schedule an appointment at the embassy. However, a promoter cannot offer a visa, and the U.S. Embassy in Russia has not processed such applications since 2021. Therefore, consular and geopolitical evidence supports Vitaly's version. His status as an elite athlete could fast-track the paperwork, but was ultimately irrelevant against the logistical impossibility of securing a timely consular appointment. Obtaining a visa for Switzerland is relatively feasible, while getting one for the United States is, in practice, almost impossible under the current conditions.